Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Alice, and today we're on day 121, Psalm 121 of our daily psalm reading. We are reading from the ESV translation, but you're more than welcome to join us from a different translation. As you can see, we are on Psalm 121. These videos are filmed in real time. Today's date is the 4th of March 25, and we're on a Tuesday. You can find the previous 120 Psalms in the playlist below. There is a disclaimer as usual, and that is one, these videos are unedited and also probably stumble my wording. Let's get started. My help comes from the Lord, a song of ascent. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heavens and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. So that is Psalm 120 complete. And tomorrow we will be doing Psalm 122. So that's the first half of the video complete. In the second half, I will talk about the Psalms time period and how we kind of work from that. And then the third part is where we talk briefly about the Psalm itself, which is Psalm 121. So with the Psalms, they're written over way over 1,000-year period, and historians and scholars don't seem to they don't know really when all the Psalms were written, and that is due to the poetic style of writing. The Psalms were generally sung, so even though they're poems and prayers and what have you, and songs as well, they were actually sung by the psalmist itself. And so you have three subsections that we're going to cover. The first one are those psalms that have a time period and an event linked to it, and that is due to the fact that there are evidence to suggest that those psalms were written at that time period with the event that was linked to it, and historians and scholars have figured that out from that evidence basically. And then you've got the second one, which is unknown but has an event linked to it, and those psalms they don't fully understand the exact point in time in history that those psalms would have been written in, but because the event would suggest something would have happened, which would then mean that the psalmist would have, the author of the psalms would have written it because of that particular event, would then suggest that that event would have been the reason for that psalm to be written. But because events can happen over a vast period of time, they're not always 100% sure on that. So for example, what I mean by that is a psalm could be written during King David or King Solomon's reign, and that would then suggest obviously it was being written during their reign, but doesn't actually mean when in their reign. It could be middle, start or end. It could even be before they had become king. So even though we know it happened during their lifetime, we just don't know if it's during the middle, start or end of their reign, or even before they had become king. So that's why it then becomes a bit more difficult to then try to decipher when those psalms were written. Then you've got the third one, which is unknown for the date and unknown for the event, and it was just something that they had written. There was no event linked to it. It was just inspirational wording, I guess you could say, were put onto paper or onto whatever, how they've written it on, it would have been put down and put into the Bible. And another thing to say why it can be difficult on when those psalms were written is because they were obviously written over such a vast period of time. People can kind of interpret it differently, if that makes sense as well. So, and also another point is translation, because things were translated in different ways, and translated from one language to another, and then so forth and so forth. And then you've got obviously the different translations for the Bible as well. It's like the ESV, which is what we're reading from, the King James Version, NLT, NIL, CS, Christian Standard Version. You've got so many different translations, so it then becomes a bit more difficult to decipher which translation is correct, for one. I'm going to say correct, which one's correct as in closest to the original writing. That's what I mean by correct, because obviously all the Bibles can be correct in their own way, but incorrect in that way. So yeah, there's so much to the time period, which makes it then become very difficult. So with Psalm 121, it was unknown, as in the time period was unknown, and also there was no event, as you would have gathered by reading it. There was nothing to really suggest why that psalm would have been written and how it was written and all that stuff in between. So the Hebrew root word for keep, and keep was mentioned, just go in, or keeper, whichever way you want to see it as, is in verse 5, and then obviously 4, and I'm trying to think, it might be, let's just go up here, yeah, keep in 7, and I think, and 8. So for those particular words, it means Shema. So the root word for keep is Shema. It signifies the act of actively looking after something, protecting it, or paying close attention to it. So that's what Shema means, or that's the root word for keep. So the Hebrew root word for keep is Shema, and that's what Shema means. It signifies the act of actively looking for something, protecting it, paying close attention to it. So that is what the root word for keep means, Shema. So that is Psalm 121 complete. I will now write in the day and the date, which is, I'm going to at the bottom, day 121, and it's the 4th, which is a Tuesday of March 25. So tomorrow we'll be doing Psalm 122, and thank you for watching. Please like my content, I'd really appreciate it if you could. Please subscribe to my channel, also I'd really appreciate it if you could, and please turn on the notification bell so you then get notified of content like this that gets uploaded to the channel. Thank you and goodbye.